In December 2024, a tragic and perplexing crime occurred in New York City that sent shockwaves across the nation. The event, involving an unprovoked attack in the city's subway system, has sparked public outrage and raised critical questions about urban safety and the treatment of marginalized populations. On the evening of December 15th, passengers on a busy subway train heading through Manhattan encountered an unspeakable tragedy. Among the travelers was a woman who appeared to be homeless, quietly resting in a seat. As the train sped through the underground tunnels, a man walked up to her without warning, doused her with an accelerant, and set her ablaze. The attack happened in seconds. Fellow passengers were too shocked to react immediately, some frozen in fear while others scrambled to help. By the time the train reached the next station, the woman was fatally injured, her body severely burned. Emergency responders were called, but she was pronounced dead on the scene. The NYPD immediately launched a full-scale investigation, collecting surveillance footage from the subway platform and reviewing recordings from train cameras. Witness accounts also played a crucial role. Many passengers described the suspect as a man who had boarded the train earlier, behaving erratically and mumbling to himself. 3 days later, detectives arrested 41-year-old Michael Sanders in connection with the crime. Sanders, who had a history of mental health issues and prior arrests, reportedly offered no explanation for his actions during his initial interrogation. Sanders was charged with second-degree murder and arson, but authorities were left grappling with the lack of an apparent motive. Officials speculated that his actions may have been driven by untreated mental illness or a history of violent tendencies. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of this case is the victim's anonymity. The intensity of the fire left few identifying features. Investigators are working to identify the woman through DNA testing, but without a name, little is known about her life or the circumstances that brought her to the subway that night. Advocacy groups for the homeless have pointed out the tragedy of her unknown identity, using this as a reminder of the dangers faced by unhoused individuals in public spaces. The gruesome nature of the attack has ignited widespread debate about public safety in the New York City subway system. City residents are demanding better security measures, including increased police presence, better lighting, and enhanced surveillance. This incident also highlights broader issues surrounding mental health and homelessness in urban areas. Advocates have called for more mental health services and shelters, arguing that the lack of systemic support can lead to devastating consequences. Politicians and city officials have responded by pledging to reevaluate public safety strategies. Mayor Eric Adams held a press conference condemning the attack and announcing an immediate increase in subway patrols. Details about Michael Sanders' history have begun to surface. Known to law enforcement, Sanders had been arrested multiple times in the past decade for minor offenses, including trespassing and vandalism. Records show he had been released from a psychiatric facility earlier this year, but had reportedly not received consistent follow-up care. Advocates argue that Sanders' story underscores a failure in the system to provide adequate mental health support for those who need it. Critics of the justice system point out that untreated mental illness often leads to tragic outcomes when individuals fall through the cracks. This case has touched a nerve across New York City, reminding residents of the vulnerabilities they face in public spaces. Subway ridership had already been declining due to concerns about safety and cleanliness, and this incident has heightened fears. The tragedy has also brought attention to the often invisible struggles of the city's unhoused population. Activists have renewed calls for programs to protect those who seek shelter in transit systems, advocating for resources that could prevent such tragedies. As the city mourns this senseless loss of life, the legal case against Michael Sanders moves forward. He is expected to stand trial in 2025, where prosecutors will likely seek a harsh sentence. For now, the identity of the victim remains a mystery, and the public is left grappling with the senselessness of this act. The incident serves as a grim reminder of the need for compassion, systemic support, and vigilance to ensure the safety and dignity of all who share urban spaces. Sebastian Zapita, a 33-year-old Guatemalan national residing in a homeless shelter, has been indicted by a Brooklyn grand jury on charges of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and first-degree arson. These charges stem from the December 22, 2024, incident where he allegedly set a sleeping woman on fire inside a stationary F train at the Coney Island Stillwell Avenue station. If convicted of first-degree murder, Zapita faces life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. His arraignment is scheduled for January 7, 2025. Authorities are diligently working to identify the deceased woman, who is believed to have been homeless. The severity of her burns has complicated traditional identification methods. Investigators are employing advanced fingerprinting and DNA analysis to ascertain her identity. In the event that these methods do not yield results, officials are considering anthropological facial reconstruction as an alternative means of identification. This incident has reignited discussions about safety measures within the New York City subway system. Notably, there is criticism regarding the lack of fire extinguishers in conductors' cabins. Vicky Goebel, whose son, an MTA worker, died in a 2020 subway fire, has expressed frustration over the Metropolitan Transportation Authority's (MTA) failure to implement such safety measures. An MTA spokesperson stated that extinguishers are kept along tracks and within station booths, areas inaccessible to the public. The attack has heightened concerns among subway passengers and the broader community, particularly regarding the safety of vulnerable individuals in public spaces. Advocacy groups are calling for increased security measures and better support systems for the homeless population to prevent such tragedies in the future. As the investigation continues, authorities are committed to bringing justice to the victim and addressing the broader safety concerns raised by this tragic event. As the investigation into this tragic case unfolds, it serves as a grim reminder of the vulnerabilities in our society, both in protecting the homeless and ensuring public safety. The victim's story, though still shrouded in mystery, deserves justice, and it's up to all of us to demand better systems of care and protection for those most in need. Thank you for watching this video and taking the time to learn about this heartbreaking and shocking case. If you found this story insightful or important, please consider supporting our channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on more stories like this. And let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think can be done to prevent tragedies like this in the future? Until next time, stay safe and take care.